What's up, guys? Welcome to Bioactive Builds. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my Asian forest scorpion. This is my enclosure for my Asian forest scorpion. I just have a 10-gallon. It's filled about halfway with substrate. It's pretty basic, it's naturalistic, and it's also bioactive. So I'll go through how to do that in this video and some general care about the scorpion. So what you want to emulate for your tank is going to be the forest floor. You're going to want to keep high humidity, and having a lot of plants and soil will help keep the humidity up. It'll help retain moisture. You're going to want to spray it down every other day or so, or as needed. You don't want the soil to be completely dripping. You just want it to be damp. You're also going to want to have a heat mat on a side of the tank. I have mine on this back side right here. You don't want to put it on the bottom because they will burrow to cool down. So if you have the heat coming from the bottom, they'll keep getting hotter and hotter and it'll kill them. So having it on the sides allows them to regulate. I have two hides in this enclosure. This is my hot hide, and it's also the dry side, and then I have a cool hide. This is just a cork background, half log. This side I have more plants because I mist it down more. I keep this side at a higher humidity and this side at a drier one so he can go where he wants. I actually don't know if it's male or female. You can check at the bottom of the scorpion, they have these specialized chemosensory appendages. It's called pectines, and they look different, and there's a couple other different ways, but I'm not quite sure. Having it bioactive basically just means you're going to have natural soil plants and a cleanup crew. I have isopods in here and springtails. I got some powder orange isopods, springtails. They'll help remove waste, cycle the tank. They'll also eat any mold, so it'll help prevent mold from growing, especially as you need high humidity. You don't want anything to get moldy in here. For the soil, you're just going to want to use some potting soil or something like eco earth. I have some sphagnum moss in here. And you want to keep it something damp. It'll hold the humidity well, and you gotta have a couple inches. They do like to burrow sometimes. Mine doesn't seem to like to burrow that much, but he's got 5 or so inches of it. This was a tank I had from a previous project, so it was already filled with isopods and springtails, so I just used it for this. And then I just put some random plants in here. So for the lighting, I just have a basic plant light. The scorpion itself doesn't need any lighting. It does need the heat. This is mainly for the day-night cycle and to help the plants grow. You're also going to want to have a shallow water dish. I have mine in this corner. You don't want it to be too deep because they can drown in it if they get stuck in it. Just shallow, and you want to change that out every other day or so. You don't want it to get dirty. So I'll show you how I handle my scorpion. Take off the light here. Now the thing about having a naturalistic tank is going to be, it can be harder to get to them. I mean, that's a good thing. You want them to be able to hide, not get stressed out. But if you do want to take them out, which you don't have to, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to them. I always use something like this just to nudge it, and I just nudge it onto my hand. He's hiding under here right now. I'll lift this up, see what he's looking like. And he always looks pretty pissed. So you're going to want to keep away from that stinger end. So what do we got on the other side? Just some giant claws. These guys will get about 7 to 8 inches full grown. And what I'll do is I'll put my hand in front and I'll just nudge from this side. And what he'll usually do is just turn around to see what's going on, and then he'll back up onto my hand just like that. And then once he's on my hand, he's pretty good. And it's really an incredible animal. Again, they're found in subtropical, tropical Southeast Asia. They can live 5 to 8 years. They have 4 legs on each side. These pinchers are their pedipalps. They also have these mouth parts called chelicerae. They have a really large stinger, but it's not as a powerful sting. Their pinchers are what they're going to use first. They're going to try not to use that stinger, in fact. And right before the venom bulb is actually their anus right there. And there's a lot of different species of these guys. They're kind of hard to tell apart. I'm not exactly sure. I know this is an Asian forest scorpion. There's a couple different species in that genus of Heterometris. These guys do glow under UV light. I'll try and go get my UV light here, show you. And they don't really know why they glow under UV light. There's been studies that suggest it's like kind of they're using their whole body as a light detection source. So they'll detect light UV rays very lightly from bouncing from the moon. If something goes over it, they'll be able to sense that. can help them find darker places at night, things like that. They eat live insects, so you're going to want to feed them roaches. Here in Florida, we have discoid roaches, crickets, superworms, those kind of things. I just love holding them. They are nocturnal. I'll see him crawling around at night. Usually during the day, he's just... So yeah, usually during the day, he's just in one of his hides. He'll sometimes go between the two. I want to go get my UV light to show you it glow, but it's all the way in the other room, and I don't really like walking around with him on my hand. But let's see. We'll try it. All right, I made it. So even, it's like fully bright. I have the windows open, there's a light on, and even now you can just see how blue it is. If you can see those two dots right in the middle, those are actually its eyes. It's just amazing. You can imagine being in the desert at night, shining a UV light and just seeing scorpions light up like this. If you can see, their bodies covered in these hairs, really sensitive hairs. Their eyesight is not that great, so they use these hairs to get around and navigate. Also on their lower side, a lot of hairs to see if there's any insects crawling underneath them. And typically they won't sting. They just will grab onto an insect and just shove it into their mouth and use the mouth parts. You can see that mouth parts are basically like little pinchers. It's pretty incredible. I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy down. So what I do, just put my hand on the bottom. Again, just kind of scoot him off a little bit. Off he goes. I have not been stung by the scorpion yet, although I honestly handle it probably too much and I'm likely going to get stung. But as long as I'm not allergic to it, it shouldn't be that bad. And here I'm just trying to get it away from its hide so I don't squash it. All right, there we go, he's back. So again, having a natural setup like this, I think it just looks so much better. It's easier to maintain, but if you are trying to handle your scorpion, it's gonna make it harder. But I see a lot of videos where they have it in a little tiny tub with a little bit of substrate, one hide, and they can survive like this, but honestly, why would you do that? Might as well throw some plants in there, get a couple hides, make it look nice. And this is something I just threw together real quick. Things will die off and you can take them out, plant other things as needed. Just experiment with it. I'll show you the enclosure from the side. You can see it's a fairly thick layer of substrate. And I like to put the hides against the glass wall so I can just check in. This other hide is just a cork round. I'm gonna put the side against the glass so I can check in, see what's going on. So overall, I think these are great beginner pets. I don't suggest keeping them communally. Asian forest scorpions are more aggressive than emperor scorpions. Other than just misting every other day, feeding insects every other day or so, you're gonna give them, I think, a few more when they're younger. As they grow, they might need less every 2 days. I think they're a really great beginner pet. They're just an awesome creature to look at. If handling them's not your thing, I totally get it. It took me a while and a couple of videos just watching people handle them online for me to muster up the courage. I tried picking it up from the stinger a few times and that's just, I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather just scoot it onto my hand. But anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.